check out the Patreon and gain access to all the source code. Hey, welcome back to another video in the Paragon System series. So this is part 16, and today we'll go over how we can add experience to the Paragon System leveling system we have. So it's a short one, but I feel like splitting these into smaller videos is better for everyone. So first off, we want to register the player event for when you kill a creature. So we want to write register player event, and then we want the ID of 7, because that's when we kill the player kills a creature, comma, and then on player killed creature, like this. Now we want to go up here and then function and paste in the on player killed creature. And since we also know that we would like, or we would need the different arguments for it, and as always you can go to SylCore.org and then click Eluna to see the documentation for Eluna. But here you would say event killer, that's our player, and then killed, this is the creature that got killed. Next, now we want to do all the awesome math for this. So let's get started on that. So local GUID equals killer colon get UID low. So this is the player's GUID. Then we want to, first off, since we want this paragon, and you don't need to do this if statement, but for me, I want this Paragon system to work based on the max level of the player. So if the player is max level, so 80 or 60 or something, if we set it to 60, then the player will gain experience in the new system, so in the Paragon system, when they are only level 60 or max level. So if killer get level, and then we want to check if our level is, so if we want the level or it's equal to server max level, and since for me I have it as a, let's just set it to 60. This is just the level you want to check against. So normally you would get your server's max level and put it here, but you can also just like not have this line. That will make it so you will be able to gain experience in the Paragon system at any level. But I want it at 60 first, then I want to gain XP in the Paragon system. Then and here, if the player is the required level to start gaining Paragon experience, you would say players GUID, get the player, but data uppercase D dot current XP equals same line again, so players players then GUID dot data dot current XP plus, and then here you would create this differently, but here I want to give my player, every time they get a kill, I want them to get 200 experience. Let's put that there. Next we want to say if players GUID dot data dot current XP is higher than or level details players GUID dot data dot level dot XP required. Then enter. So what we are doing here is that we are asking, or we are making an if statement, and we are checking if our current XP is higher than the XP required. If it is, so if XP required for level 2 is 2000 and our current experience right now is 2200, or sorry, 2100, just giving you an easier example, that means this will be true, so it will go into the if statement and do what we have here. Otherwise, we should not do anything. So if it's not true, we would not do anything else. So let's continue. So if here, then you add, since we want to increase the player's level, because this means that the player actually can level up now, we will say players GUID dot data dot level equals players GUID dot data dot levels, or level, sorry, plus 1. So now we increase the player's level by 1. Then we say players UID dot data dot points equals players GUID dot data dot points plus, and since I just want to give the player a 1 point every time they level up, I will write 1. Next line is players UID dot data dot current XP should be equals to 0, because we want to reset the current XP. And then we could do some other stuff if we want, like let's actually do it so it casts what is it called, an effect on the player when they level up, so the level up effect. So let's make a little fast little function up here, which is called let's see player leveled up, or do, yeah, I need the function here. So like this, then we call it do player leveled up effect. And we need to send the player, because we need to know the player that should actually be having this effect cast on them. So now let's cast it on the player. So player colon cast spell, and we want to cast it on the player, so player, so this is the target who it should be applied to, comma, and then we want to have the spell effect, which is 61414, and then comma true, so it's instant cast. And next we want to like write that message that will pop up when the player levels up. So that's player colon send area Paragon message, and here I'll just take the code for the color, and the part of the message would be this. Then outside of the double quotes dot players, and here it would be the player colon get UID low dot data dot level, and 2 dots again, and space here in double quotes achieved. Yeah, achieved with an explanation. So that's actually everything we need here. So next thing, we want to actually call this function when the player levels up. So let's go back down here, and we do a call, and we set the player. So that's actually called the killer here. Sorry, my bad. Then next up, we need to, since this is if the player levels up, we are actually done in that statement. Next thing we want to do is that we want to get it ready for later when we want to build, like we want to send this data to the client. So let's first start off here, and we want to build the local. So we want to build a table of all the data. So follow me here. Level uppercase L equals players UID dot data dot level, comma current XP equals players UID dot data uppercase D dot current XP, comma again XP required equals level details players UID dot data dot level dot XP required. And the last one is the points. So points equals players UID dot points. And that is all for building this data back up. Next, last thing we actually want to do now is just we want to send this data to the client. So we will just make this function ready for when we want to send it. So AIO dot handle killer, that's the player, comma Paragon System AIO, comma, and then we want to write, this is the function that should be called on the player when we send this. So that will be receive progression upgrade from server, and outside of the quotes, comma, and the data. So we want to send this lowercase d, so our own local data we have here, we just build up. And that was actually all for making like the possibility of adding in. So now we have it so the player can receive experience in the Paragon system. Let's actually do, let me see here, is there anything easy we could do real fast? Yeah, you know what, let's do one more thing. So let's add so the players can actually reset. So we just like, for these videos, we just build up the server so it's all ready when we move back into the client, so we don't need to bounce back and forth. It's much easier. So let's just make the fast little function here for resetting your player or Paragon. So you reset all the points and you get the points back and stuff. So reset player data table. So this is for resetting all your data, so all your points. So local data will lowercase d equals players, like always, and GUIDs or GUID, but data uppercase D. Then local refunded points equals data.points, like that. Now we need to make a loop, a for loop, a pairs for loop. So for entry key, comma value in pairs, and data with lowercase d, and view, and then end. So now we have our loop. Now we say if entry key squiggly line or equals squiggly line equals double quotes points and entry key squiggly line equals UID and entry key squiggly line equals double quotes current XP and again and again entry key squiggly line equals double quotes level with uppercase L. Then refunded points equals refunded points plus data entry key. And then down here, data lowercase d entry key equals 0, because then we reset it. And then outside of those, outside of the whole loop, we want to say data point dot points or uppercase p equals refunded points. So that was actually all we needed for refunding the points. So let me go over what we are doing here. So we are making a local data, and that's just basically a copy of the data it's the server stores. Then we say refunded points equals data.points. Reason we do this is because if the player, let's say the player have used 20 points in different stats, but the player still have 2 left over. If we didn't do this, we would actually just lose the 2 points. So what we are doing here is that we are taking the last leftover 2 points and storing it in the refunded points at the start. Then we do a loop where we look for the entry key, which is the stat. So that would be strength underscore stat, agility underscore stat, or defense underscore stat. And what we do here with the squiggly lines is that we are saying when it goes through, because it goes through the whole data table, so it also goes over the points part and everything. What we say here with the squiggly lines is that if it's not points and it's not GUID and it's not the current XP and it's not level, then it should go in and put so if you say this is the strength one we are going over, since strength underscore stat is not any of these, we use that to put it into the refunded points. And then we reset the strength underscore stat to 0, and then we do it again and again and again. And at the last or at the end, we say data.points equals refunded points. So that was all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please consider leaving a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.